Big or small? What is something you've done that you're proud of? Rebuilt my childhood PC last year. One I got brand new in like 2003, and initially got about 7 years from before the original hard drive died on the thing. It was the first computer I had which was brand new and not an already dying hand-me-down. The thing was stored away in my parents' place until last year. Research what were the best compatible parts from that time, and also with a bunch of modern adapters to use an SSD and extra ports. Still an absolute pain to get everything configured and cleaned up. But the knowledge is out there in a lot of ways. I was in a job interview for a job helping clean for people who are disabled or elderly. They asked me what I would do if an elderly client was very confused and was trying to make a cup of tea by putting a teacup directly on the hot stove element. I said I would turn off the stove, have her sit down, and then call the office. They were really impressed and said I was the only one they had interviewed to think to turn off the stove. I was really proud to be the only one to think of that. I've never been great in interviews, so it made me happy. I'm a bit hesitant to say this out of fear that I might jinx it. But I started my own business. I'm about 1.5 years in now, and I'm almost at the point where I can quit my day job and work remotely on my business full time. It's something I've been dreaming of for over 10 years, and I finally just somehow made it happen. It was a lot of hard work, and in hindsight I'm not even sure how I pulled it off. My motivation energy level generally holds steady at about 0.1 out of 10. So yeah, I'm pretty damn amazed with myself tbh. Breaking up with my GF. It seems so small, but she's hurt so many times. Every time I never broke up with her. I took her back after she broke up with me. It's been for years. I finally broke up with her and told her what she did is fucked up. I wished her the best and then told her to leave me alone and not contact me, and that I'm done. It was so hard because I love her so much, and I never got closure, and I will never get closure. That I didn't deserve someone who treated me like shit and came back when it was convenient for them. Reached the level of distinguished Toastmaster. I couldn't really speak for shit, let alone publicly. Toastmasters allowed me to go from someone who'd shy away from even speaking in a meeting to someone who now leads classes and workshops. I'm the one people volunteer to have them speak for the group to managers and customers, etc. And why I'm proud is that there wasn't a trick or workaround. I just really sucked. And I spent years and years on it until I was good. And it was all due to hard work. And landed on my cheek before futtering off. It's hard to imagine it happened, but I brag about it every chance I get. I hope it lived a fulfilling week and remembered me because I will never forget it. Last year, I finished a basement in our house. Studs, electrical, plumbing, the whole 9. Did the work myself, with the help of a few friends and family. Had to learn a few new skills. Put in a lot of hours, and probably upset the wife and kids more than a few times. But I can't remember a whole lot of times I felt better than when I looked at the finished product. I made a vinyl record with my band. People don't really pay attention to local bands like they used to. And it makes us feel like we're just wasting time, and no one cares. But something about recording 13 songs and getting them pressed on a 12-inch vinyl makes us feel like a real band. People still don't care about us. But now we feel better about nobody caring. I was pregnant for 9 months and then had a C-section. Then I survived colic with no family in my area beyond my husband. Man, was colic hard. I know so many women have, but no one said congrats to me for making it through all of that. The focus went straight to my son, which I'm absolutely okay with. And I get it, calls he's a cutie. I'm proud of myself though. 5 years clean from self-harm. I never talk about it or admit to people, since I'm ashamed of ever doing it. So I've never been able to tell anyone apart from therapists. But at one point, I seriously thought I'd never be able to stop. I don't like the scars, but they're also a reminder of how long it's been. I'm proud of existing. I had years of undiagnosed depression and didn't think I'd make it this long. So grateful for destigmatizing mental health because I finally got help a couple years ago. And while I wouldn't dare I'm thriving yet, I'm hopeful now. and surviving doesn't seem impossible or hard anymore. I become 40 this year, and I finally got my first driving lesson yesterday. It's really going to change my life and that of my family. We're expecting a second child, and I thought it was about damn time I started to learn how to transport my family in an easier way, and to lose my dependence on others. Escape imminent death for times, entirely by reacting and acting correctly. My only choices were do something now or die. Samuel Johnson said, "Depend upon it, sir. When a man knows he is to be hanged in a fortnight, it concentrates his mind wonderfully. Works when it's only a few minutes away, too." I rescued a badly injured neck stray cat and nursed him back to health. I had to keep him inside and change his surgery dressing twice daily. It took about 3 months for his wound to fully heal. Now he is my handsome, super friendly house cat Larry. I'm proud that I helped him. I'd stopped doing it as it was incredibly hard as I'm colorblind. Still trying to get myself to learn oil painting, but the challenge I think is putting me off or something is as I can't seem to begin. I worked my ass off to overcome BPD many years ago before the internet even. Some say you can't cure it, but when you no longer qualify for the diagnosis, I view that as the same thing. Regardless, it's not been a part of my life since then. Biggest accomplishment of my life. I crossed off the bucket list item of recording and releasing an album on my own last year, and I am midway through finishing a self-published card game. They're 2 things I thought it was too late to do, and I am really proud that I stopped making excuses and just did it. Going no communications with my narcissistic toxic parents and raising my siblings. We've been financially independent for almost 5 years now, and my siblings are growing up to be good people despite our circumstances. That last part is what I'm proud of the months. A bit later this one, but I used to have my own company. Sold it. Moved to the city of my dreams in another continent and studied a master's. But now, I cannot find a job for the life of me. And nowadays I'm just proud that I decide to sleep and wake up every day. I was pretty much homeless at 17, had all of my belongings in my truck, and moved into someone's spare room. I was able to slowly put myself through college and own my own home by 25. Don't wish the work hours on anyone, but still crazy to look back on it. Personally, wife's naturalization. 8 years from start to finish, no lawyers. Just me and a keen ability to shuffle papers. Professionally, a 5-episode, 5-hour podcast documentary on the origins and founding of the university the first used to work for. Back in 1978, I got tired of working in the pressing room at a clothing factory. I found an ad by a dentist that wanted an assistant and no experience necessary. I got that job and turned it into a 38-year career. I'm now retiring the end of May. I had 2 babies in 3.5 years and gained 50 pounds. I'm 36 and have never worked out consistently. I've been working with a personal trainer for the past 3 months, and I am focusing on being strong instead of skinny for the first time in my life. My UX project for my game design course. Compared to professionals, it's not much, but I'm proud of the final product. I handed ITT in today. Looking back, I could have done so much more, but procrastination and mental illness reared its ugly head. After college, saved my money, broke up with BF of 3 years and moved to Spain for 3.5 years. The best decision I ever made. Now back home in America and I am content. Sometimes feel like that part of my life was a dream and didn't really happen. I'm proud that I took care of my elderly mother round the clock for 3 years to keep her out of a nursing home, so that she could die peacefully at age 99 in her own home. Hardest thing I've ever done, but well worth the effort. I chose to continue full-time employment instead of accepting long-term disability as a terminal-type cancer patient. Worked hard to get where I was to concede. Have a lot of pride in that and a lot less empathy for lazy people. 36 years in the military. I managed to time my moves so both my kids for years apart got to spend all 4 years at one high school. We literally packed up the month after one graduation so we could make first day at the next school. I played drums in a black death metal band for 7 years, and we had 2 albums and toured throughout Western Canada. We never hit it big, and nearly no one knows our name outside of our home city. But I'm still very proud of what we did. The other day, an old woman's EBT card wouldn't go through as I was leaving the corner store. So I went back and paid for her groceries. Small, I know. But it made my heart warm knowing she wouldn't go hungry for the night. I wrote, directed, and starred in my own movie that was released in cinemas last year and is currently being released worldwide on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. Mad typing that out. Definitely a true life goal achieved. Considering my upbringing, I am proud that I've made a relative success of my life. I have a few creases to iron out, but on the whole, I'm a decent person with a good career and I am thought of highly by most people. I was a mid-level government employee who retired and then became a contractor. I retired totally in 2016. I'm not rich by any account, but I retired with enough to not have to worrying about finances until I die. I learned how to make for panel doors. I needed a door, but it was too short for a custom door, so I made it. Then when I needed another door, the custom door was too expensive, so I just made that one too. Lost 2 kids. One in offer and one a year later from failure to conceive. Wife got pregnant in 2011. We found out on my birthday. She gave birth to a 10 pounds for ounces boy. 22 and he's 12 now, and we're both happy.